Since the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act, traveling in the U.S. has become fairly accessible across the board. Fairly. When it comes to air travel, though, I don't think things are changing quickly enough to make travel easy as it should be for passengers with disabilities. They say they face obstacles at nearly every step of the air travel experience. And talking to me and talking to all of you right now, sorry, I'm having some trouble speaking today. I have a man who has no trouble speaking, Dave Stevens, along with Robin Sharp from Eastern Seals Capital Region in Eastern Connecticut, here to discuss a new nationwide initiative. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks
Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
And Robin, I'll get to you just in a couple of minutes, but we do want to start with Dave, no stranger to the show. Dave, of course, you travel all around the country, giving motivational speeches, a retired athlete too, which means I'm guessing you fly a lot. Can you tell me some of the problems you've had flying?
Yeah, all the time. It's so different at every airport, every place that we go to, because they're not trained, they're not prepared. And the problem with national travel is you don't have that accessibility at every single airport. Bradley's a really good airport, but there are others that fall short. And when you see a guy like me in a wheelchair on a skateboard trying to get on, the airlines don't know how to deal with it. They don't know, do we bring an aisle chair? Do we do that? So the experience is bad. And then the handling of what we have, our equipment. 31 wheelchairs are ruined every day. There are over 11,000 incidents every year, and that's millions of dollars. And that's not on the airlines. The airlines just writes a check. We have to do better training, better education for the handlers and everything that goes into that.
And you mentioned them getting ruined, and that is because when you're flying by air, you have to give that wheelchair up. You can't bring it with you on the plane. So has it happened to you? Have you had a wheelchair come back in more than one piece?
Tim, I've had 15 wheelchairs destroyed. I've had 8 of them by Delta. And again, they're ready to...
15 wheelchairs destroyed?
Yes. And the good thing is, again, the airlines will pay. They'll do it. But it takes time. You got insurance involved. And those people that are unlike me, that I can get around and do those things, they're screwed. I mean, they don't have that accessibility for an electric chair that are damaged, or their breathing devices. And that's why it's so imperative that what Robin's doing, Kendra Davenport at Eastern Seals, All Wheels Up, and Michelle Irwin, is to just give us that experience that I'm not jumping on a table and having a TSA agent go through the different experiences. If you can have pre-checks, why can't you do that for the disabled world and let us come into a different area with bigger x-ray machines and things like that? Like, there's answers for that. Pete Buttigieg and other people in Congress are trying to get these done, but the initiative that Robin and Eastern Seals has taken is, we all have money, we all fly, and we need better experiences.
And I'm glad we got this video showing how you get down those narrow aisles. That probably answers a lot of people's questions. All right, about the initiative, Robin, please tell us, what are some of the main points here that you're trying to make sure people understand?
So as you said, Tim, travel's become pretty accessible, except on airlines. I feel like that's kind of the last frontier of accessibility when it comes to travel. And transportation is such an integral part of people's lives. And Dave's got to travel all the time for work, as do other people with disabilities.
Right.
And not just for work, but also keeping families together, experiencing all the different places in this country and even in Europe. And international travel, is even more difficult.
I can imagine.
So we feel like, 2026 is the 40th anniversary of the Air Carrier Act. It's a perfect time for airlines to make that commitment to become more accessible. And we haven't even talked about, using the restroom on an airline. Not something any of us really look forward to.
Tim, let me just make that point. Think about, we call you leggies because you have legs and you can walk around. But think about that experience when you're in the bathroom. It's tough for able-bodied people. And we can't get wheelchairs. We can't get anything to get into those if you have a walker. So it's like we have these baby steps we need to get to, just like when they have bathrooms at the airports that are accessible. 75% of the time those are locked and we can't get into those. So, there's all these things that we can do, and I appreciate the efforts of Eastern Seals to just let us have a chance to fly.
And I worry because there's only so much you can do to retrofit the planes, but like you're talking about, a lot of the problems are in the airports. A lot of the problems are with TSA too. One last quick question, Robin. How can people help you guys help the campaign to gain more traction?
I think, like everything else, is let's talk about it. Right? Thank you for having us on, for calling attention to this. Talk to our legislators. Let's talk to the airlines. Let's just, let people know that this is important, not just to people with disabilities, but to all of us.
Sure. And now we've done our part. Now it's all on you. Like she said, Robin said, call your local legislator. Demand some changes come to the airline industry. If enough people make enough noise, they will listen.